joining us for this excellent session. So I'll give them a few more minutes. I know we said 2:45, but as I see people popping in, I hope everybody's had an opportunity to take advantage of at least one or two of the sessions over the course of the week. We just finished 3 in-conversation sessions with the health unit and MPP Todd Smith and then MP Neil Ellis. So I'm really thankful that this is not a session I have to talk in. So Brianna, do you think we're probably just about ready? Give me a thumbs up when you think we're ready to start officially. Okay, we're still getting a few more people coming in. Okay, we're good. So I got my directions and I just want to say thank you all for coming on behalf of the Belleville Chamber of Commerce. Thursday has become our day of this Small Business Week for 2020. And with everything virtually, hopefully that's meant that you've been able to attend more. So sponsor for this event with LinkedIn B2B is the Small Business Center. And on that note, I'm going to pass it on over to Luke Fournier.
Yes, thanks, Jill. Good to see everyone here today, and just want to say welcome. I think Jill, when she says she's happy she doesn't have to speak here, what she really means is the next session is a meet and greet, not a meet and greet, a networking event where she can relax at the end of the day. So on behalf of the Small Business Center, I want to welcome everyone here. If you don't know who I am, I'm Luke Fournier with the Small Business Center, and you're going to see the Small Business Center square up there with Brianna as well. We want to thank the Chambers and Small Business Week for letting us sponsor this event. And we want to welcome Theresa. She's going to be your main speaker today. I'm just going to do a quick little intro for Theresa, and then I'll hand it off to her. You're going to learn lots today. Before I do hand it off to Theresa, I just want to say that as a Small Business Center, we are a continued support for you guys well beyond Small Business Week. So as you learn more from Theresa today, if you have any follow-up questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to her. I'm sure Brianna and Theresa will share her contact information with you. But I also want to extend that should you have any additional questions from any of the workshops and webinars this week and throughout tomorrow, please feel free to reach out to us here at the Small Business Center for more information. So without further ado, Theresa has 5 years of marketing experience in various industries. She has a passion for drive and pushing the boundaries of traditional marketing concepts, and she's helped her clients see success. As the head of marketing at SimpleDesk, and I hope, Theresa, you'll take a moment to tell us a little bit about what SimpleDesk is. She's responsible for creating killer marketing plans for her clients and ensuring that all their needs are met. She wears many hats in her position and has the knowledge of many different facets of marketing, including LinkedIn, from social media to email. She's extremely passionate about marketing and helping small business owners succeed. When she isn't working, Theresa enjoys spending time with her young daughter and fiance, enjoying and rediscovering all that Trenton has to offer. So thanks again, Theresa. Enjoy the webinar.
Hey everybody, so I'm Theresa. I'm the head of marketing at SimpleDesk. I do want to apologize for the lovely background that I have. I'm actually updating my office right now because having a workspace at home where I can be productive is really important to me. So I'm in the process of doing that on top of working full time and being a mom. So certainly makes for an interesting time, especially with COVID going on. I work at SimpleDesk. What it is an outsourcing company. So essentially small business owners come to us and say, I'm like a service-based business or I'm an industry-based business and I don't have time to do my marketing, or I need some help with customer support or accounting, administration, that kind of stuff. And we essentially say, here's what we can do for you, and we just take it off of their plate. So what I really like about that is that I get to make one-on-one connections with a lot of the small business owners and entrepreneurs in our area. I get to know about them personally. I get to know about their business. And then I kind of feel like I'm involved in their business because I kind of take the marketing role myself. Jenny, who's the owner of the company, she actually does the accounting, the admin, customer support side of things. So together we make a pretty awesome team, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, that's basically what we do. We just are an outsourcing company, and we're very affordable because we are working specifically with small businesses. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys and do a little bit of a presentation. If you have any questions as we're going along, I'll do my best to kind of keep an eye on the chat. But Brianna, if you want to just pop in and let me know, I can get kind of carried away when I'm talking about marketing because I'm very passionate about it. So feel free to just pop in and let me know if somebody's asked a question. Okay. Bear with me as I get this set up. Okay, how to use LinkedIn for B2B communication. So if you're in here and you're like, just want to know a little bit more about LinkedIn and you're B2C, that's okay. A lot of the tools that I'm going to be talking about using on LinkedIn actually kind of help you do that. So sometimes B2B connections kind of help you foster when it comes to B2C. So I will kind of mention how that works as we're going through the presentation. So to begin, understand your why. So to ask yourself, what specific benefits are you looking for on LinkedIn for your business? Is there a benefit? So a lot of the times I see small business owners get really overwhelmed because there's so many platforms and they might not have the knowledge to do these platforms. And so they just try to like spread themselves really thin. So first evaluate before you even start worrying about LinkedIn is asking yourself, is there any benefit for my business on being on LinkedIn? And because your time's really, really like valuable as a small business owner, you don't have a lot of time and you're probably doing a lot of stuff as it is. So just evaluate if there's any benefit before you even start doing your profile and connecting with people. So some of the things that you can do on LinkedIn is grow your network, foster relationships with other businesses in the community, strengthen your brand, etc. So is B2B your focus? Then yes, this is going to be a great platform to you. But don't discount it if you're B2C. A B2B strategy can actually help you when it comes to B2C communications. LinkedIn is often forgotten by businesses, but it is a powerhouse of a platform and has many benefits when it's done properly. Something that I really want to talk about first is think about how you want to represent yourself. So if I could just take a quick poll by raising your hand. Have you ever received on LinkedIn one of those like clearly copy and paste messages where they just send the same message to everybody? And then as you're reading it, you can tell that they didn't do any research on your business. They don't really have any interest in getting to know you. That is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to LinkedIn because it's meant to be very organic and very natural and very much like connecting with people. When you just copy and paste the same message, I know that you don't really care about me as a business and I don't want to make a connection with you. So please do not do that. Don't just copy and paste. Take the time to look at a profile and look at the business and kind of get a feel for that and think that every communication that you do on there, whether it's commenting on a post, whether it's messaging somebody, that's representing you. So think about how you want to be represented. I really like a blend of personal and professional. So if you are connected with me on LinkedIn, feel free to look me up after and connect with me. You'll see I do share a mix of both of those things. I will talk about our team members. I will talk about my life as a mom, my life as a professional. And then I also talk about helpful tips and tricks for small business owners. So there's a little bit of everything for somebody on my page. And I like it that way because I find that it just helps people get to know me as a person, but also as a professional. So let's talk about the stats. So I think sometimes LinkedIn is often really forgotten. Facebook and Instagram kind of trump, but that's more of a B2C kind of communications. It's not so much B2B. So LinkedIn is 277% more effective at lead gen than Facebook, according to HubSpot. If you're into like reading about marketing or business, I would highly recommend looking at all the free resources on HubSpot because they have so much information and it will really help you like as a business owner. Users are already at a high level decision-making process. So when you're reaching people on LinkedIn, it's not like you're just putting your message out on Facebook and hoping that you catch those leads. These people are professional, they know what they're looking for and they're ready to commit. So it kind of brings another level to any marketing strategy you do because you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to reach people. You know you're going to be reaching your correct target market because they're at that decision-making stage. 91% of executives rated LinkedIn as their #1 choice for professionally relevant content. 59% of B2B marketers, which I am a B2B marketer at the moment, I do B2C as well. It does generate leads for us as a business. So Jenny and I both have personal profiles and we kind of can communicate with people on our personal, and that actually has helped a lot with us getting B2B contacts, and then that in the end helps us with B2C contacts as well. 80% of B2B marketing leads from social media actually come through LinkedIn. So while this webinar is focused on B2B, you can actually use LinkedIn for B2C, and oftentimes B2B relationships lead to improved B2C communications. So using your page for lead generation. So keep your profile updated and professional. There are actually two types of profiles. You can have a business profile. So we would have a SimpleDesk business profile and a personal profile. In my experience, I have more success actually with my personal profile. I keep it branded to the SimpleDesk like colors. I use like our shots, and for the cover photo, I use SimpleDesk branding and like logos and that kind of stuff, because people know me, and when I'm networking and kind of communication, people are like, oh yes, Theresa again, and I talked to her, but they might forget the name of my business. So I often get looked up from my own name. So that's why I don't personally do a business page. But some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about right now, or in this presentation, is both business page and personal page focused. So obviously with the business page, there's a little bit more that you can do that's business centered, but you can do a lot with both types of profiles. So keep it branded. Again, like if you go on my personal LinkedIn, you'll see that I've got a nice headshot branded with the colors, and then I've got a header image that has our SimpleDesk blue with the logo and some images that kind of really associate with their brand. Professionalism is very important, but so is personality. So a lot of the times when I'm on LinkedIn, I see people with really stuffy headshots, and you can see that they're very uncomfortable. I just find that that's not very approachable. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, like my profile picture, it's me just kind of relaxed in my natural habitat, smiling, just having fun. It's still professional, but it speaks more to me. And I think that kind of opens the lines of communication. And LinkedIn's all about communication. So if you look approachable, if you look fun, but you also look professional, I find that really helps with making connections. Header images are the first thing that people see when they look at your profile. So make sure that one is branded, but make sure that it makes sense. Don't just throw up a random picture. Have a strategy to how your page is laid out. Be as descriptive as possible on your profile. So talk about your experiences. If you've got stuff that you can show like a physical copy of, do an online portfolio and link that portfolio to your actual LinkedIn profile. Digital files can be uploaded there. People can look at your PDFs of your work if you're somebody who's looking for additional work, or if you're trying to pitch yourself as a business. Right now, I believe I have some portfolio work, so people can just click on it and have a look at my work. That kind of, for me, speaks a lot more to my skills. So people are more likely to say, I like the looks of her, I like the look of her work, I'm gonna trust her, and I'm gonna reach out and get started either with marketing or accounting or whatever they need help with. And the first two lines of your description are really, really important. Please don't waste time saying like, hi, I'm Theresa. Like they only see the first two lines of your description. If they're interested, they'll click on the see more, and then they'll read kind of like the good part. People kind of put the good part about themselves in the middle of the description. You want to hit them right at the beginning. So I think that mine right now it says something about my passion for helping small businesses succeed. And I think that really speaks to me as a professional and gets small businesses who need the help, who are maybe a little bit hesitant about outsourcing their workload, to be like, okay, she obviously has my best values and my best interests at heart. I'm going to take the leap and send her a message. List your skills and ask for endorsements and recommendations. And I encourage you to do the same for your connections. So I see that Chantel is in here in the webinar. Chantel is an amazing support. She's followed SimpleDesk for quite a while now, and we see her always commenting, always engaging. She always endorses us like by word of mouth. We actually just gave her a recommendation on her LinkedIn page. So people can go on her page and see like, oh, I know SimpleDesk and they're really good at what they do and they speak very highly of her. So you're just kind of helping each other out. You're just talking about what each other has to offer and endorsing that. And that really helps make additional connections. So as much as you want people to like kind of pump up your profile and talk about you, please do the same to other people, because you get what you give. So that's really important when you're kind of nurturing B2B relationships. Make sure that your profile and business page has your website linked and displayed, and then create a fail-safe. So if they don't click on your website, what's the next step? So a lot of the times when people are looking at profiles, whether it be a business or personal, they really just kind of want to scroll and have a look. A lot of times they don't think, let me just go look at the website. I want to kind of get the nitty gritty on your personal profile. So what I do is I make sure that all the content that we're posting is relevant, up to date, and clickable. So it's okay to do a static image. You will see on SimpleDesk on our LinkedIn profiles, I do static images all the time with like a kind of like a quote or something inspirational. Those are okay to do every once in a while, but like mix it up. Do blog posts that send people back to the website, because if they like your content and they go through there, then they're on your website. They have a chance to connect with you that way, and you're getting them somewhere that you want them to go. So that could be your website. It could be a downloadable lead magnet so you can capture their email. It could be a sign up landing page if you're launching something new, like a new part of your business. There's all these different great ways that you can use content, and you're essentially capturing people's attention and then sending them to a place that you want them to go. So you really have to leverage that content to the best of your abilities and be very strategic about what you're putting online. Don't just post for the sake of posting. Always keep your target market top of mind. Again, you never want to create content for the sake of creating it, and every piece should have a purpose. So I'm a big fan of cross-channel posting. So cross-channel optimization is essentially where you create one piece of content and then you adjust it for like sizing. So say you post something on Facebook, you're gonna properly size it and just follow the rules for Instagram. And then you may do it on LinkedIn. That's great, but keep in mind that if you're a B2C company and you're trying to make B2B relationships on LinkedIn, that messaging that you've done for Facebook and Instagram might not actually work for you because it's B2C targeted. So just pay attention to not only the kind of content you're putting out there, but how you're wording it, because those are two different target markets and they both have different needs and different pain points. And in order for you to fulfill them, you need to be generating content that matters to them and that teaches them something. A big way that you can do this is use the filter tool on LinkedIn. So you've probably searched for somebody online or using LinkedIn. A great thing about the filter tool is that when you get search results, you can actually refine them. So you can do things like location, job title, how long they've been in the industry. Those kinds of things really help narrow down your target market so that you're only putting content out to the people that it's most beneficial for you to reach when it comes to B2B communications. So how do you increase your page traffic? So I know people set up pages all the time and then they're just like, oh, I haven't really seen anybody go in and have a look at my profile, because LinkedIn, of course, tells you whenever somebody visits your profile, even if they're on private. So this is really simple, but people don't do it. Just engage with other businesses. Engage with other businesses that inspire you, that are similar to you. Engage with people that you just want to support and tell them that they're doing a good job. That could just be sharing the content, liking it, commenting, and that's honestly the best way to get out there, because people can see, they'll see anybody who follows you or who is connected with you on LinkedIn will see that you've liked somebody else's comments or content. So then they'll go over to your connections and maybe follow, maybe engage, and vice versa. That's how it works, is a give and take on this platform. So if you're not willing to put in the work, it's not unfortunately going to be of benefit to you. So connect with other people and businesses. So use that filter tool to narrow down your search. Even if you don't know them personally, you never met them, maybe you've heard about them or you've never heard about them and you just searched and you thought that they were interesting, add them as a connection and become familiar with their business. And be genuine in your messaging. Please do not copy and paste. This is just such like an unpersonal way to approach somebody. And I can see, like, obviously when I'm getting message, I can see if that person has looked at my profile. I can see if they've taken the time to get to know me. And it just kind of like ruins it for me. If you message me and you're like, hey, Theresa, I love what you do at SimpleDesk. I'm interested in signing on with you guys, and I know you've taken the time to get to know me, and I'm more than happy to message. But if I can see that you've just copy and pasted and thrown my name up in the first line, it's just not a good way to connect, and it just doesn't reflect well on you. So please just stray away from doing that. I know it's a time saver, but it really doesn't help you nurture those connections that you want to get. Take the time to actually look at the profile and get familiar with what they do. And then sometimes you might see somebody and they look like a great candidate, but then as you're going through their business, it might just not mesh with yours. So don't be afraid to take the time to do that. I do actually do a lot of my, I call it LinkedIn stalking, but I do a lot of that when I'm like in bed at night, kind of trying to wind down from the day, I just take the time to look at businesses and get familiarized with them. Like, even if I don't make the connection, then I just know about them, and knowledge is power, in my opinion. And then thank somebody with a private message when they become a connection. So it just shows that you're paying attention. It personalizes the connection, so even if nothing comes from it, they've gotten kind of like a warm thank you. I always try to do that. And then it opens up the lines of communication. So maybe they were a little bit hesitant and they want to reach out to you and they just didn't know how to get the conversation started. You taking that initiative just kind of helps them say, okay, I'm going to take the leap and start a conversation. And it's also a form of lead generation. So when it comes to B2B, you're always going to be lead generating on LinkedIn. This is another way to do just by personal messaging. So one thing I want to talk about that I don't think a lot of people know about is the showcase page. So earlier I talked about a business page, but a showcase page is different. So it is actually created for B2B relationships. So if you're big on B2B, you're gonna want to pay attention because this is what you're gonna want to do. Your followers won't be notified when you create a social page from your business page. The two are linked, but you post content separately on each of the pages. So make sure that you promote a showcase page when you create it in order to get people onto the page. And it's great to talk about a facet of your business or a particular initiative. So for an example of this is, since I'm primarily marketing focused, I could create a showcase page off of SimpleDesk business page and say, email marketing. And then I could create a showcase page for Facebook ads. And then I could create one for Twitter if I wanted to. And essentially what that does is it narrows down the target even more than what it would particularly be on LinkedIn. And it funnels people into specific pages so that they can get the content that that's most relevant to them and they most want to see. This is really great actually for B2B communications, because people will be like, I really want to know about Facebook ads, but I'm not sure. And you might not post about Facebook ads on your business page at any point. Maybe that's not part of your content calendar or your mix, you haven't thought about it. But when you create showcase pages, you're essentially narrowing down the focus on a specific topic. So it's, again, segments your leads and your profile traffic. It engages different audiences with different elements of your business. It creates a community of followers centered around a specific subject. And when you're doing a showcase page, it's focused, relevant content experience for a particular target audience, which means even deeper engagement. So somebody might follow you and they might like a post every now and then, but they might be really into Facebook ads and they join your showcase and then they're really engaging with your content. They're liking every post, they're sharing every post, they're talking about how great your content is. That's paramount when you're making those connections. You absolutely want to be making connections where it counts. And for those people, sometimes it's just narrowing down what you do and portraying yourself as obviously an expert. Yeah, so that's a showcase page. And for anybody wondering how you do that, there's actually a section on your page, it's like a drop-down menu where you can click create showcase. Then once you've created it, it's going to link on your profile on the right-hand side. So any pages that you see, take a look at the right-hand side and then you'll see affiliated showcase pages and you can check out whether or not they're of interest to you. So it's called the administrator tool. And then when you're naming your showcase pages, keep them really short. Don't be like the fantastic resource for Facebook ads for small business owners. Just keep it really short and simple so that it's easy when people are searching to find that relevant content and it just looks better on your profile. You want to keep your profile super clean. And then again, it will be linked on your company page. Some ways to grow your page. So the showcase pages will be less visible as opposed to company page. People won't necessarily know to look for them. So add the link to those showcase pages in your email communication. So add it to your signature or send it to somebody that you know was looking for that information. Target pre-existing followers, asking them to follow your showcase page. Obviously think about who you're sending that message to and what kind of content most benefits them, and then send that out. Again, that's very B2B because you're showing that you're taking the time to get to know your connections and you're thinking of them and here's the content that you think will work best for them. I love when people do that. I love when they say, Theresa, I saw this marketing thing, it's new and here's a link to the blog. I love when people do that because one, I know they're just trying to help me as a professional because the marketing world is always changing and there's always stuff to keep up to date with. And then it just makes me like really want to support them. Like, you supported me, you're educating me, I want to help you, I want to educate you and support you. So that's one of my favorite things that you can do as part of LinkedIn. Get your employees to share the link and the content. I do that a lot with SimpleDesk. I will share all the content so that people who don't necessarily follow that page can go on and follow Jenny and make those connections. A great tool also is LinkedIn Matched Audiences. So this is a way to filter your audience specifically to that niche that you've created that showcase page for. So again, using the Facebook ads, you can actually focus the audience to people who are interested in Facebook ads or people who are just getting started in marketing and that kind of stuff, small business owners. You can filter that down and then target those people and send them the link and all that kind of stuff. So you can also do direct sponsor content. So you do paid advertising and to kind of promote your page, and then make sure that all your content is conversion based. So what I mean by that is, like, again, it's okay to post an image every now and then, but make sure that you're doing a lot of links. So you're either sending people to your website or a landing page or lead magnet, something. It should be very focused. It shouldn't be posting just for the sake of posting. So here's a good example. I love Adobe. So anybody that's in the marketing world, Adobe is like the thing that you use. Here is their company page. You can see it's very branded. And then this is an example of a showcase page. So this is a page that everyone comes to because they know Adobe. It's a huge name, but you might not know that they have a showcase page on Adobe Creative Cloud. So that's a specific package that Adobe users can use. It's one of many, and people who use Adobe Creative Cloud are actually well versed in it. So what they do is they essentially join the showcase page. People will follow it. Adobe will post like kind of helpful tips and tricks for Creative Cloud specifically. As you can see, they've got some great like memes in here, comics. It's just a good way to engage people, and I really love that that's a facet of business because, like I said, not everybody's going to be interested in all the content. So I have a lot of clients right now that are marketing based. They just want help with marketing. So anytime I post things about admin or virtual assistants and stuff like that, they're like, I don't really care about that. So if we have like a specific showcase for marketing and then a specific showcase for accounting, then it's just going to make life a lot easier, because then we're highly targeting people and getting more engagement because they're seeing the content that they want to see. So advanced search. So I did mention this briefly in the last slide. So what it is it's building a database of your most fruitful prospects. Again, not just putting your messaging out there, you're refining your search and getting to those people where it really counts. Once you connect with these people, you can build a relationship with them through strategic marketing. So that personalized messaging that I was talking about earlier, and then email campaigns. So if you're able to get emails, then you're able to just email them and kind of push your business. Take a look at who your clients and ideal business collaborators are, and use that search function to really narrow that down. And your search results are always filtered anyway, but you can continue to filter them down, and LinkedIn will actually show you as you continue to filter who you're going to reach. So this is really good if you know your target audience ideally. Like if you have no idea, I would say pump the brakes on that, because that's the most important part about B2B relationships and marketing is understanding your ideal target market. So really refine your search, understand who you're looking for, who's the most benefit to reach, refine your targeting, and then that's the kind of people that the content will be shared to. And those are the kinds of people that you can reach out to, and do personalized messages and make those connections. I see a few, oh my goodness, they have a few chats in here. So let me see if I can read it.
There's one here, it's from Chantel.
Yeah.
All these tools and functions are available in the free version of LinkedIn, or are they on the paid wall?
Yeah, so I have the free version because admittedly I'm a little cheap. I think that you can do great B2B relationships not having a paid version. So don't feel compelled to. Obviously with the paid version, you get more bang for your buck. That's the reason why it exists. But you can do a lot, I can do advanced search now on my free platform. You can get a business profile and do those showcases, and you don't have to pay extra. That's for free. Some of the stuff I will be talking about, if you go and have a look on LinkedIn, which I do encourage you to do after the webinar, take the time to go back in onto LinkedIn and have a look at everything that I've talked about. You will see some things are obviously better for paid advertising. You get more for it, but most of my recommendations are free because I am talking to small business owners and entrepreneurs. I know money can be tight, so I don't want you to feel forced to do anything. It's all free ways to kind of build these connections. I hope that helped. So let's talk about groups. So this is something that I didn't actually know existed until I did my research on LinkedIn. And right now there's currently 2 million groups on LinkedIn, and that is growing. So that's an excellent way to grow and nurture connections and gain more leads. Because again, it's highly refined, highly targeted, and you're not reaching out to your 1,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook. You're talking to maybe 20 to 100 people in a specific group. So there's 2 ways that you can engage in a group. You can join a group yourself, or you can create a group. So you can actually use the search function to search for things that you're interested in and join the relevant groups. For a while, I was in a Kingston marketing professional group, and I loved being in that when I lived in Kingston because I got all of the updates on networking events, or if I was looking for a job at that particular time, people would post job postings in there, or they would post updates on things that were happening in the marketing world that maybe you didn't see. It was just a really great way to connect one-on-one, but also educate myself as a professional. So anytime that you go on LinkedIn, take a look and see if there's any new groups and just join them and start connecting with people because it's a really great resource. If you're creating your own group, make sure that you create a welcoming space where like-minded individuals can join and feel encouraged to share their experiences, successes, failures, all that kind of stuff. And don't focus on group size. So I find that some of the most fruitful connections come from small kind of like groups. Like I'm a big fan of keeping my circle small in my personal life. So with business, I find this is actually really great. So sometimes people get hung up on the numbers and they're like, oh, this ad only reached 400 people or only reached, and I was going for 1,000. That's okay because maybe your ad spend or your post didn't reach somebody that it didn't matter if they reached them. Maybe they reached the people that it needed to reach. So that's a great thing about the groups. Say you only have 25 people in your group, or you're in a group that only has 25 people, that's going to create a really tight-knit community. It's going to be great for B2B because you're going to get to know people one-on-one, and that's going to help with the support. And I just find like if you're going to be putting content out there that's for your business, you're going to want to reach people that actually care. You don't want to just be putting your stuff out there and running yourself ragged, creating content that people don't care about. That's the great thing about the groups is they know that they care about what you're talking about, and they're eager to kind of get those digestible pieces of content. So how do you create a group? There's a LinkedIn groups homepage. What I did to find it when I first started is I just joined one group. There's a list of groups that you're involved in, and then there's a list of like requests. There's a little search function on the bottom. You can just click it and it'll bring up what kind of groups that LinkedIn thinks that you'd want to join. But then you can obviously, again, filter your search and find the stuff that's more relevant to you if what LinkedIn has suggested just isn't doing it for you. If you're going to be creating your own group, a big thing to worry about is whether or not you've toggled on that listed function. So groups on LinkedIn can be listed or private. If you've got it private, nobody will be able to find your group unless you personally invite them to it. If you've got it listed, then anybody can join that is in that particular niche that you've created. So go talking about creating a group for an industry, a location, all that kind of stuff. Those are the people that are going to be coming into the group. Make sure it's listed so that people can find it. If you've got it on private, it's no good unless that's the way that you want to do the groups. So the setup is very similar. So if you set up your own business page, it's going to be super easy. And just make sure that everything is branded. Don't create a group and then just leave it. That's another big pet peeve of mine. If you're going to do anything, it's an extension of you and an extension of your brand. Make sure it's branded and it speaks to what you're about, because people see stuff, and if it's not branded, it doesn't look good, you don't look professional. Why would they want to connect with you on a professional level? So just keep that in mind every time. So, and my big tip when you're creating any kind of content, if you're doing groups, if you're doing showcase pages, focus on being an expert in what you're creating that thing for. Think outside the box and don't be sales pitchy. So please don't create these things and then just be like, look at this great product. That's not going to benefit you. So like an example of that would be like if I was to do a marketing group for email and I said, sign up for our email. okay, that's great on one level, but how many times can you say that before people are like, you have nothing to offer me? So what I like to do is I like to say, here's a good way to, or here's a good resource for creating a subject line. Here's the do's and don'ts. How long should your email be? Did you know that in order to send a good email, you need like 50% text, 50% image? That kind of stuff people don't know and they want to learn. So a group is great for that. You can do that on the showcase page too, but that's essentially what it should be used for. It should be used to position yourself as an industry expert and for people to come to you for resources because they see you as somebody that's knowledgeable. Content marketing. So there's two ways to develop an inbound strategy when it comes to content marketing on LinkedIn. Post on your business page and your personal page. So use a content mix of videos, images, and text. I really prefer videos when it comes to LinkedIn because that's highly prioritized content, and I will get to that in a few slides. But it's okay to just do a picture of yourself and talk about what inspired you, because again, that's gonna connect people to you, but just do a mix. Don't just do the same thing. Try different things out and see what works, and then use that as part of your strategy moving forward. The more personal and informative you can be, the more response you will get. I find as long as I'm maintaining a good balance of personal and professional, that I do get good engagement, and I get support, and I get people messaging me. When I'm just straight sales pitchy, like when I first started out, I was not getting connections. I was connecting with people that I went to school with, and that was pretty much it. So as I found my voice and found what was appropriate for LinkedIn, I got more engagement, I got more B2B connections, and that's ultimately what you want to do, is get more B2B. And post regularly. So what I recommend is doing a content dump. So for some small business owners and entrepreneurs, it can be overwhelming to think, oh my God, I've got to create like one post, let alone like a whole week's worth of posts. But if you have some time, or I highly recommend make some time, just come up with ideas, come up with copy, come up with images, write a blog post, put it in like even an Excel spreadsheet, and just list what date you're going to post the content. You can get a free Hootsuite account. You can schedule it that way. Make sure that you're always posting content. You don't have to post every day, but just try to be as on the ball as you can. So if you're good with 2 posts a week, do that, but make sure that you're posting 2 times a week every week. That's why content dump comes in handy, because then you can just get it up there, upload it, and let it deploy like on a schedule. Again, it's not always feasible for people, but I have to recommend it because sometimes it's a big lifesaver for me. So what makes content strong on the platform? It teaches the audience something. It has a desired action. So again, going to a website, downloading a lead magnet, all that kind of stuff. It's relevant and it's consistent. So you're not talking about a product one day and then talking about what you did for lunch the other day. Those two things are very opposite, and they don't really mesh with what LinkedIn's about. So always be keeping your business top of mind, even when you're being personable, and make sure all your content is relevant and consistent. And I always say authenticity is a huge thing. I can tell when people are being disingenuous and not upfront about themselves. And those people, for me, are really hard to make connections with. When I feel that someone's like warm and welcoming and open, that makes it so much easier for me to start that conversation. And it makes me want to support them. It's the same like in a one-on-one setting. If somebody's really stuffy and kind of rude and like talks down to me, obviously I'm not gonna be as engaged as somebody that's super sweet and nice and bubbly and is excited about what they do. So make sure that you're being authentic. There's a way to be authentic and personable and still professional at the same time. So strategic posting, people use LinkedIn a lot during work hours, especially if you're doing B2B, because you're like at work and you're like, okay, I want to collaborate with this business and I'm going to find them on LinkedIn. I'm one of those, like, there's a group of us that like to use it like after work. I'm never disconnected from work at any point. I try, but it's always top of mind for me. But a lot of the times, like during the day is a good time to post content, because people are actually on LinkedIn cruising, especially as a marketing professional. I have a lot of marketing connections and they're always online during the day at all times. So really evaluate your target audience and when's a good time to post, and then just stick to that as a posting schedule. So again, I did say that videos were highly prioritized. They actually get 5 times more view than other content types. But I do recommend keeping the video short and digestible. I wanted to give a shout out really quick to Lot 48. They are a local business in Belleville. They do some amazing, really short videos on their LinkedIn. I'd encourage you to take a look and see what they're doing, because that's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about doing video. It's really short, digestible pieces of content that tell you something, and you're not wasting 20 minutes just sitting, staring at the screen, wondering when the good bits are gonna come. They use video to their full advantage, and it has really helped boost their platform. So if you're looking for some ideas or you want to be inspired, go to Lot 48's page, because they do amazing work. Tips, tricks, recaps, and teasers do really well. Again, educational based. Most successful videos are 15 seconds long, but don't be afraid to go longer. So under 15 seconds probably won't do as well. Something above 3 minutes, 5 minutes might be a little bit too much depending on the content. So evaluate what you're trying to say and how you can say it in like a short amount of time. And then use closed captions and subtitles. So I always say this because LinkedIn reads it better if you've got captions. Maybe you haven't done a good job in titling your video or doing a description. Those captions are essentially what's gonna help LinkedIn read what your content's about, and will hopefully get to the right people. And again, also it's for accessibility. So a lot of people, when they're doing video, they don't put subtitles on, and you're missing out on people who maybe a little bit hard of hearing. You want to be approachable to everybody, and you want to be thinking of everybody that you are reaching. So just there's a way that you can just click when you're uploading a video to add the captions. I just recommend doing that. It's super easy to do. My personal favorite type of content though on LinkedIn is articles and blogs. So you can share links to blogs that you've got posted on your website. So again, content clicking back to your website. Or you can use the article function on LinkedIn. So that's essentially, you can blog directly on your page, get people interested and funneled more onto your page. So there's two different strategies, and you have to figure out which one works for you if you're big on the blogging. Keep intro copy, so like your little piece of copy above the blog, short and compelling. Hook them with that information and make them want to click either to your page or to your website to read more on the blog. And I use these to educate and promote ourselves as experts in the industry. So if you follow SimpleDesk, or if you know SimpleDesk, I do a lot of blogs that are just like tips and tricks, because I know what I know, but a small business owner might not know that because they didn't go to marketing school, or they don't have time to take a course and kind of get familiarized. So I just think if I was a small business owner and I was doing this, what would I want to know? Like, what is the most important thing that I want to know? Like, how do I do this? What is something I want to stay away from? So anytime I'm doing any articles or blogs for LinkedIn, that's kind of what I focus on. How can I position myself as an industry professional and get people to take me seriously? It's just to give knowledge that makes sense. It's just, I love articles and blogs. I do a lot of them. So if you like to read, I highly recommend you follow me and like connect with me, because you're going to get a lot of blogs. So images, text posts, and carousels, again, these are great, but I wouldn't use them all the time. Keep them branded and engaging. Don't just post a picture for the sake of posting. Ask people questions, encourage them to respond, and ask them to share your content. That's the best way. If you're opening the lines of communication, even if they're commenting on your post, that's still getting engagement. Other people are going to see that post on their timeline, and they're going to want to engage. I personally love carousel posts because they encourage engagement. I don't know if any of you joined any of my Facebook or Instagram webinars that I had with the Small Business Center, but I cannot say enough good thing about carousel posts, because it's just natural inclination when you see a post with a bunch of different images to want to just swipe and see what's there. So if you see one image, you're probably going to keep scrolling, but if you see an image that's engaging and there's multiple, you're going to want to scroll. I see people all the time just scrolling through multiple images. So where you can do carousel posts, I would. You can even take something that's educational, put it on some images, and then make it so kind of looks like a book. People are reading it. That's still engaging people, and it's still being educational. So there's lots of different things that you can do. You just have to be very strategic when it comes to your personal business. So ways to improve your content. I see people doing the same thing over and over again, and these are the tips that I would love to say to them, like just to improve the content. Tag people and brands in your post. Use hashtags, but don't overdo it. There's nothing worse than seeing a post and it's got like 60 massive hashtags. Just use a couple that's really refined to what you're talking about so you can get the right people to your content. Get your own team members and employees to share the content that you're posting on your business page or on your personal page. This is something that I try to do as much as I can, just share content that Jenny has posted. Showcase your team or your space, again, being genuine and authentic. If I'm connected with you on LinkedIn, I want to see what you're doing. I want to see if you're launching something new on your business or something good happened for you. I want to see that. So just post it and talk a little bit about it. And I will be the first person to comment and encourage you for whatever's going on in your life. So I love doing that because it gives a more personal feel. It steps away from being kind of stiff and rigid and businessy. Talk about your why. So we do this a lot at SimpleDesk, like why we do what we do. I'm actually born and raised in Trenton. I moved around quite a bit as I was kind of figuring things out, but I'm back now here with my daughter and my fiance. So it's really important to me that I am helping small businesses be successful. So a lot of the times with people in my specific industry, like marketing, it can be people just want money, but that's not what we're about at SimpleDesk. We're very much about helping people, because when we give back to the community, it's just a better place for us to live. So I'm always talking about that whenever I'm making a connection. I love this community. I'm very glad to be like back here and living here. And that's what I do, why I do what I do, and why I'm so happy and grateful to be a part of the SimpleDesk team, because I get to give back to the community. So I'm always talking about that. Create a content mix and evaluate what types of content work best for future posts. So again, do a blog post, do a video, see what works best, and then kind of try to capitalize on that content because you know it's effective. Nourish leads and connections in a variety of ways, and that actually helps you be successful with those B2B connections. People want to support you when they get to know you. I can't tell you how many times I'm just kind of blown away by the support of people, like when we post something on SimpleDesk, because they know Jenny or they know myself, and they're just really excited for what we're doing. So, and honestly, keeping the conversation going, shooting a message every now and then, or like an email, or going out for coffee. I know it's a little bit hard with COVID. Just nourishing those leads, it just keeps things, it just keeps those connections going. And you always want to be doing that in business. You never want to let a lead or like a business connection fizzle out, because they could be there for you on a business level, they could be there for you on a personal level. And both of those things are important. So it's important to keep nourishing those leads as you get them. And again, the more targeted the content, the better, especially if you're doing the showcase pages or you're doing the groups. If you're going to be making it a segment, make sure that content is very targeted and don't stray from that. Make sure it's specifically talking about what that group or showcase was created for, and just run with it. A new feature that I actually saw on LinkedIn that was rolled out a couple of weeks ago is LinkedIn Stories. I love looking at Instagram stories. I actually haven't seen a lot of people capitalize on LinkedIn. So if you're trying to get your foot in the door, I'd actually say go for doing the stories, because I have yet to see anybody actually do it, except for maybe a few big businesses that I follow. So just get on there, be authentic, be genuine, and you can use those LinkedIn stories on your Instagram or on your Facebook. Cross-post that content when you can, as much as you can. But make sure that when you're posting actual content, and try and engage B2B, that it's properly targeted. So collaborating and building relationships. I'm gonna harken back on this because I've seen so many people connect with me lately that just copy and paste. Do your research and don't connect for the sake of connecting. Don't think that because you have 500 plus connections on LinkedIn that makes you important or looks good on you. It's so easy to just send a request and accept it. There's nothing, I find I don't send out connections for the sake of connecting with people. I connect with the people that I want to connect with, or that I want to support because I want to follow their journey. Familiarize yourself with their LinkedIn profile and their business website. So it takes minutes to just click on their profile, do a little read, go on their website, look at their business. Because somebody might reach out to you and say, hey, I want to collaborate. You might say, yeah, great. But if you haven't done the time to research, they might not mesh well with your business, or they might not stand for something that you stand for. So it's really important when you're making business connections to make sure that they're the right fit. Don't make connections just for the sake of doing it. So again, this is a good analogy. You wouldn't go into a job interview not knowing a bit about that business. So why would you go into a collaboration with somebody or build a connection with somebody without doing your research? I know in terms of hiring, when I was doing job interviews, I never would go into a job interview without personally knowing that business and what it was about. I made myself well known, like I became an expert in what they do, and then I would go into the job interview and it would net me the job.
So we have a question, Theresa.
Yeah.
Chantel asked how long the LinkedIn stories last.
Oh, that is a good question. I think it's 24 hours. I haven't actually had the chance to look at it myself, but I believe it is 24 hours from the reading that I did. I don't want to say 100%, but I'm like 85% sure on that. It doesn't, I don't think it stays on your profile, no. They haven't created something like highlights yet where you can highlight it on your page. I think it's just stories for now, and they're kind of working on it as it goes. It was only launched like a couple of weeks ago, so I think some people are a little hesitant to dip their toes into that one. And then I'm just going to talk really briefly about LinkedIn advertising. So I don't really recommend doing LinkedIn advertising if you haven't done a form of advertising before. So because it's highly targeted, I find you kind of got to put the work in to do the ads. A good resource for you would be start off maybe small and doing a Facebook and Instagram ad, because getting that experience, obviously the setup's going to be different because they're different platforms, but you will gain the experience from creating an ad, doing refined targeting, figuring out what's the best place to send people. When you do advertising, it's a constant back and forth. You may do something one time and it's great, and then you do it again and it flops. So it's always a process of doing what you think is best, analyzing the results, and then kind of working on it to figure out what's the best ad to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the type of LinkedIn advertising, but it's not necessarily something that I encourage you to do right at this moment. So again, you can take advantage of the highly segmented targeting options, and that's why these ads are good. But if you don't know how to do that, start small and work your way up. So the first type of ads you can do is a text ad. This is pay-per-click. So you pay for every click on your ad. That can get kind of expensive. So that's why I always say start small, then try your hand at LinkedIn. It's featured on the homepage on the right. So when you log in and you've got your newsfeed, this will be on the right-hand side. I've got a little image, and I'm sure you've seen these. It's a short description, and it's usually an image with the company logo. I personally, again, I'm not really a big fan of advertising. Maybe it's my generation specifically, but I've just kind of tuned it out. So unless it's super engaging to me and directly in my newsfeed, I don't really pay attention to this. These might be good though for somebody that uses desktop. So maybe 50 to 60, that because you know a lot of that target market, depending on what your specific, I guess, like the way that you refine your audience. If they are they're on desktop a lot, they're going to see this. You're not going to see this on a mobile device. That's why I don't really recommend doing that if your target audience is somebody that's going to be on a mobile device more than they're going to be on a desktop. A dynamic ad is featured on the homepage on the right side. Again, you probably have seen these a lot as well. It's more personalized. It essentially takes your picture and your name and it advertises directly to you. So this is a great type of advertising in any other way, but for me personally, in LinkedIn, I'm not a big fan of it. It does obviously have success, otherwise people wouldn't do it. But for me personally in our business, it's not something that we explore right now. So again, you could do, if you want to do this type of ad, you could do a download. So again, a lead magnet to get people's emails. You can do a product, or you could push a service. So that's the kind of thing that the dynamic ads are used for. Again, I'm not a big fan of them, but I felt it was important to mention for those of you that are maybe a little bit tech savvy or want to get into the realm of advertising. It's just good knowledge to have. Sponsored content. So that appears as it looks pretty organic because it's in your newsfeed. It will have a promoted button on it so people know that you did pay to have it put into their newsfeeds in front of them so they could see it. What I do recommend if you're going to be doing this type of ad is that you do a lead gen form. So what that means is when you post content, LinkedIn actually gives you the option to do a lead generation form. So if somebody's interested in your content and they click on, it will pop up like a form and they can fill it out and then you get that information. So what's great about that is that if you're specifically using LinkedIn for B2B and maybe you're having a hard time doing targeting, you've reached one person, and you've got that lead generation information, then you could be like, oh, okay, this age or this demographic, this job title, this location are people that are interested in what I have to say. Then that's going to help you obviously refine your targeting, which is ultimately what you want to do. Don't just post because you're just trying to get your stuff out there. Make sure everything is targeted. And then the last one is sponsored messages. So again, not my favorite. I'm not a fan of these. It's basically, it's also called in-mail. So you may have seen this. It's sent directly to somebody's inbox. It does come off as very copy and paste. So it's like you just set up one message and then it just deploys to people who fit in that specific target audience. I really recommend not doing those, but if it's something that maybe works for you, then give it a go. It's just good to know that that option is available. Then lastly, use the LinkedIn Campaign Manager to track the effectiveness. So anytime you're doing something, make sure it's effective. Okay, and then just to recap, so keep your audience top of mind always and check content on mobile and desktop. I can tell you how many times I've looked at something and it just on my mobile and it's not been properly formatted for mobile, so it's horrible. So it really, really is horrible when you spend the time creating great content to just be overlooked because you haven't taken the time to make sure it looks how it should look on mobile and desktop. Use LinkedIn targeting options to refine your searches and save them. So what I recommend is if you find a niche or a group of people or a location or job titles that works for you, save it in your searches or in your targeting options. So that way, anytime you're doing something, you can just select that audience. You don't have to go through the process of clicking on this, clicking off that. It's just there for you to just simply click that I want to use that audience and deploy the content. Search groups for like-minded individuals. This is what I used mine for back when I first started. I connected with a lot of like Kingston-related marketing groups, and I just shared information, got to know them one-on-one, and it was a great resource for me. So if you do have the time, I do recommend looking for groups, especially local, or maybe if you're looking to learn, look for groups that are going to help you because that's where the good content is. Engage with others as much as possible, both by messaging and on their content. Again, because when you give to people, they give back to you. It's just the nature of things. Nurture the leads and relationships that are most important to you. So don't be afraid to just send somebody a message and say, great job, or check in on them and see how they're doing. Advanced search is used more for refined targeting. So if you're just looking for somebody that is a digital marketer, you don't necessarily need to use advanced search. You can just plug it in the toolbar and find it. Advanced search is more like, I want to reach digital marketers in Kingston that are this age. That's when you're going to be using that tool. So it's not always necessary to use. It's only necessary if you're going to be doing specific B2B connections that require that specific audience, or if you're creating content that is going to that audience. And then test out advertising to see if it's right for you. So don't spend a lot of money, set a budget if you're going to be doing advertising, and then just evaluate the first one and see how it goes. Is it a problem with how you set it up, or is your image not engaging enough, or is your copy not good? Keep those things in mind, but at the end of the day, remember it might not just be a good resource for you. And then lastly, again, make sure your content is clickable as much as possible, that it's engaging, and that it teaches your audience something. So I use LinkedIn all the time for educational resources. That's the type of people, or that's the type of content that people are coming on there to see. So make sure that you're capitalizing on that as much as possible. And I'm a big believer that we all have something to teach, especially if you're a small business owner or like an entrepreneur. You got into your business for a specific reason, and you're an expert in that. So if you make candles, you're an expert in candle making. So what kind of information can you share with people about candle making that's going to make them be like, oh, I remember her, and I'm going to go to her every time I have a question about that because I'm interested in that specifically. So always have faith in yourself as an individual and as a business. Position yourself as a figure of knowledge, and then just use that when you're kind of posting. But make sure that you're not. Sometimes people post content that's educational, and the way that they present it is very like, I know everything. Don't do that. Just present yourself as being as helpful as possible, that this resource is going to help you. And then that makes that personal connection. You connect on a personal level and on a business level. So that's all that I have for LinkedIn. There's obviously a lot of different options that you can do. If you have a paid version, the world is your oyster, but this is just all free stuff that you can do and that I have done myself that I find work really well for nurturing B2B. Most of my connections I do talk to on a regular basis, or I've had some kind of connection with. So I do recommend when you're making the connections, make sure that they're valuable to you. You're not just adding people because you want to have a big number. So that's all that I have. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Any questions, just throw them in the chat box, or if you wish to unmute, you're more than welcome to do so also. And this is also recorded, so go ahead, Chantal.
Hi, Chantal Fraser. I was just trying to clap and show my appreciation. I didn't actually have a question. I have a lot to digest from everything you shared, Theresa. There's a lot of great information. I love the idea about the pages off, the featured pages or special pages, or I wrote it down, but for specific topics, I love that idea.
Yeah, well, thank you. Honestly, Chantal, thank you for attending. I can't tell you how amazed I am at how supportive you are. Like, anytime I post something and you comment, I'm like, oh, I love Chantal, she's amazing. But like, honestly, if you cover a lot of different topics, I do really recommend doing the showcase, because you may be reaching somebody who likes one facet of your business with some of your posts on your personal page or a business page, but maybe they want more refined content and they're more likely to just hop on those things with you and follow that content. So I do recommend, if that's something that you're interested, that you do, because I think that could really be a good resource.
It's on my list of things to do to add to my strategy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Extremely informative, Theresa. Thank you so much. I'm a brand new to LinkedIn. And hi Chantal, I follow Chantal and I follow SimpleDesk.
Oh,
and I'm just still trying to learn what I need to do. So this was very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, good. You're very welcome. If you have any questions, my time is free for anybody. So if you want to like email me, like as you're kind of setting your profile up, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll make sure that Brianna sends it to everybody. I'm more than happy to help, because it can be a little bit like daunting. You're like, what do I need to do? How do I best represent myself? I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
I will send the presentation to everybody, and I will also send Theresa's contact information as well. So if you have any questions at all, or you forget or whatever, I will remind you with my email.
It was a lot of information. So.
Yeah. And on behalf of the Belleville Chamber, I want to thank you so much, and everyone for joining us today. It's fantastic. Thanks, Brianna and the Small Business Center.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, there's still one more webinar left, and the networking event, please sign up. And then, of course,
hopefully everyone signed up. Yeah, we've sent out the link, so we will record it. So if you did want to find out more about the networking, as it looks, how awkward that can be, this was great because it gave us kind of a finite example of how to deal with it in LinkedIn, and we're going to try and take it a little broader and kind of get over the fear of walking into that room, whether it's a virtual one or a real one.
Yes.
But we'll have that posted for sure. So.
Awesome. Thanks again, everyone, and Theresa, and of course, Jill. Thank you.
Thank
you guys.
Take care, everyone.